Continuing completed classics. Fulfilling failed franchises. Reinvigorating reviled rehashes. It's the follow-up Showdown with Paul Getz and Travis McMaster.
Hello and welcome to the follow-up Showdown, where we attempt to give worthy second chapters to stories that don't have them. If this is the first time you're joining us, the way it works is this. We take a movie that either has no sequel or a sequel regarded as being unworthy of its predecessor, and each take a turn proposing our own version of what would be a more fitting continuation. Now, when I say we, I'm of course referring to myself, Paul Getz, and my co-host...
Travis McMaster.
Excellent. We're also...
I don't know why that gave me pause.
That is your name.
That's me.
Yeah. We also have Lauren Picorni here.
Hello.
Yep. Lauren did not watch this movie with us. I haven't even mentioned what the movie is. We're doing Super Mario Brothers, 1993's Super Mario Brothers. But we
I
are
have
happy.
seen it once before,
Okay, excellent.
but
excellent.
remember not a lot.
Perfect. Well, we are happy to have you here any way we can.
Thank you.
Yeah. I remember seeing this movie in theaters with my dad and my sister, and I remember not liking it as a kid. This is the first time I've seen it since then.
I was denied the opportunity to see it in theaters because my parents thought it looked bad. And not bad like, oh, we don't want to go take you to this, we don't want to see it, but bad like, we think you won't enjoy this.
Interesting.
And they didn't see it. They just saw like the trailer or whatever, and they thought, no, not for you.
At the time, they might have been right. I remember my specific issue being that I watched the Mario Saturday morning cartoon and the live show, and I did not understand why they made the changes in this movie that they did.
Yeah.
The fact that they're not brothers. There's a lot of things that are different about it than
I don't know what I would have thought. I assume I would have loved it.
Well, okay, fair. I enjoyed it more this time.
I've always enjoyed it. Not to be like the hipster fuck I am, but I've seen this movie a good handful of times. I already owned this movie on DVD and have for years. That's why we had access to it.
Yes, this was Travis's personal copy. I will say the quality of the movie is questionable in several ways, but I would also say that I had a good time.
Yeah.
This was a good time.
I don't know if I would go as far to say it is a good movie, but it is much better than people give it credit for.
Okay.
That's my party line.
Okay.
All right.
I think it can be picked apart pretty easily. I will say that. I think we did do that while we watched the movie.
Yeah, we made some monkey shines, but I think people always overlook the fun and the genuinely cool like sci-fi world building stuff, which always gets overlooked because the discussion is always, that's not how the video game was.
Well, and I believe the legacy, or at least the positive legacy left behind by this movie, is more related to its look and the technology used at the time. It was apparently the first movie to employ the CGI software Autodesk Flame, then still
software.
in beta.
That's good software.
You know
I
it?
don't fucking
know. Well, it helped to shape the direction of computer special effects at the time.
It looked great.
Yeah. It did.
Yeah.
Okay, so normally we would have a guest, or at least that's the idea eventually. We were going to have our friend Mario, which would have been fitting for this movie. Our guest / judge today is going to be equally fitting, a coin that we're going to flip.
A gold Sacagawea dollar coin.
Yes.
Representing... the gold coins from the games, which in the movie are called Koopa coins.
Yes. They might be Koopa coins in the game. Oh,
which we never see.
That was an early appearance from the coin that I just dropped on the ground.
That's production value, baby.
Yeah. All right. I want to try something here that we didn't get to last time. I think it's important that we introduce to viewers who haven't seen the movie what happens in the movie so that they can follow along with us in our pitches a little bit better. But I don't want to spend too long on that.
Who's listening to this that hasn't seen the movie?
I don't know. I don't know their names.
Oh.
But
I just don't think we should cater to weirdos.
I think we absolutely 100% should cater to weirdos.
Oh, no.
And will cater to weirdos.
All right.
Regardless of whether we want to or not. I want to say that. Weirdos. I'm calling this A Minute with McMaster.
A Minute with McMaster.
It's always going to be to you, Travis, to explain in 1 minute or less, if you can, everything that happens in the movie. You think you can do it with 1 minute?
I could definitely do it with 1 minute. That feels like too much time.
Well, we'll see. We can cut a lot of this, so
Okay.
don't worry about that. So, 1 minute, you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Go.
So the meteor that killed the dinosaurs broke into 2 pieces. The smallest piece was put on a necklace and given to the princess of the Mushroom Kingdom and put into a different dimension that was created when that meteor struck. That child then grows up in Brooklyn and we don't spend any time with her. Then we are introduced to the Mario brothers, who are unsuccessful plumbers, but only because their car isn't fast enough. They happen to run into this little girl who is now grown up and is named Daisy. They go on a double date with Daisy. Luigi dates her and Mario brings her girlfriend. They are all more or less kidnapped or through happenstance find themselves thrust into this other dimension, the Koopa land, Dino Hatton, where King Koopa is trying to track down Daisy to get the meteor to put it back together so they can combine the 2 dimensions. They run around the Koopa Kingdom, separating, re-meeting, fighting one another until they are eventually victorious over the Koopa clan.
Okay. Yeah, you had 6 seconds left to spare at the end there. I think...
Lost some nuance.
Yeah,
sure.
well, I think that maybe you spent a little too much time on some details. But I really, in terms of the main plot, I think the only thing that you left out is that the girl's father is turned into fungus and spread around the city.
I actually had that thought while I was talking, but since it affects absolutely nothing in the plot...
Except the happy ending, I guess.
But they're not reunited. It's nothing.
Well, the fungus does affect the plot throughout.
The fungus, I guess you're right, it does.
All right. Did that help at all, Lauren?
A little.
Okay. All right. Well, let's, first let's talk about this movie a little bit. Travis, being a fan for a long time, is there anything, any nuggets of knowledge you want to drop before I get into the stuff I found online?
I will say that I'm sure you already were going to bring this up, but it did win a Saturn Award for its production design.
I wasn't.
Which is, okay. Well,
I only look up the bad stuff.
Okay. Well, it won a Saturn Award for its production design. It was a legitimate award for legitimate reasons. Sure. It looked great. Sure. The costume design is really cool. Yeah. The sci-fi concepts are really interesting and neat. Yeah, like I said during the movie, if I told you Terry Gilliam directed this, I think people would respond to it much more positively.
It would get more credit. I think you're right. Yes. I do think you're right. I would say that the sci-fi concepts, there are a lot of cool ones. I would say most of them don't go past being concepts. Agreed. They don't back them up. No. They don't, follow up with any sort of information that makes a lot of sense. Interestingly enough, Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto of the game Mario commented about this movie that he enjoyed the effort that was put into the film, but he felt that the end result tried too hard to replicate the game series.
So he didn't watch the movie.
And I will say that the movie, it might have done better to stick to its original ideas than try to bring in the existing tropes of the series at all. I think it got caught midway, like in between 2 concepts. Yeah. Actually, I know that it did. The most famous thing about this movie that I found right away was that both Bob Hoskins and Dennis Hopper hated working on this movie.
I just assumed Dennis Hopper hated every movie he worked on.
I think he probably enjoyed working with David Lynch. I just get the feeling that the intensity of those guys probably played pretty well off each other. But according to Dennis Hopper, he was supposed to be on this movie for 5 weeks, and he ended up on the movie for 17 weeks. Ooh, so that does sound frustrating. Okay, where I want to start is, in terms of talking about this movie, is the writers. There are 3 credited writers: Parker Bennett, Terry Runte. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. Runte, fair enough. I'll stick with that as well. Parker Bennett and Terry Runte. They are a writing team. Their other credits are exclusively the movie Mystery Date, a board game instead of a video game adaptation that time, and an animated movie called The Thief and the Cobbler, which I'm quite fond of.
Yeah. For the animation, though, not for the script.
Well, I've only seen it once, but I remember really liking Jonathan Winters in it. So
wait,
The Thief and the Cobbler.
Thief and the Cobbler?
Yes.
Jonathan Winters.
Yes, he's the thief.
I'm thinking of a different movie.
Are you sure? It was this movie that I'm referring to is originally called Arabian Nights.
The animated one.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay, yeah.
Jonathan Winters voices the thief. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Feel like I'm losing a lot of street cred here. All right.
You know, we'll see if you can bounce back from that as well. Okay, so the third credited writer is Ed Solomon, who wrote the Bill and Ted movies. He's writing the new Bill and Ted movie.
Oh, okay. I follow him on Twitter. Humble brag.
Good for you. Mom and Dad Save the World, Charlie's Angels, the Now You See Me series, and Men in Black.
The original?
Yes, the first, the original. Yeah, he was a co-writer.
That was 2000s Charlie's Angels?
Yes, the Cameron Diaz, Drew Barrymore.
Oh man, I have
Now
not
You See Me was actually really good.
Well, I've not seen Mom and Dad Save the World. But I'm a fan of those other movies that I have seen.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I agree. That he has the most clout, I think. However, there are 6 other uncredited writers of this movie.
There it is.
The first person to take a crack at this movie was Barry Morrow, who wrote Rain Man.
Can't see the influence.
He apparently wrote a kind of an existential road trip movie with Mario as a smart older brother and Luigi as his naive savant sibling.
Oh, one trick pony.
Yeah, apparently the production staff found it so similar to Rayman that they nicknamed it Drain Man.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
The next team of writers to take a crack at it was Jim Genuine and Tom S. Parker, who wrote The Flintstones and Richie Rich.
That feels more like what I watched.
Yeah, well, and theirs was a bubblegum bright fantasy flick set squarely in the familiar Nintendo universe. They wrote a straightforward Super Mario Brothers movie, supposedly.
That one probably would have been a franchise.
I would have liked to have seen that one.
Yeah, I agree completely. The next team is another team, Dick Clement and Ian Lafreniere, who wrote The Commitments, and they wrote for Tracy Takes On. A lot of British stuff. And theirs was the script, apparently, that was so sophisticated and intelligent that it got Bob Hoskins, Dennis Hopper, and Fiona Shaw, who plays Lena, to sign on to this movie. Okay. So the script... That's
the one I want to read.
Yeah. That's the one that brought them in. And apparently Bob Hoskins famously did not know about the video game.
Right.
So that script must have been really something.
Yeah.
I gotta say. And then there's one more writer, the writer of Tapeheads and The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. Ryan Rowe was the last writer on this movie. And also, unofficially, apparently, according to the actor Richard Edson, who played Spike, he and Fisher Stevens, who played Iggy, were allowed to do all of their own dialogue. They were able to, day-to-day on set, write their own dialogue, which made it a lot more fun for them.
I'm glad someone had fun on set.
So they're unofficial writers in that sense. Okay, so then moving on from writing to the director.
Smooth segue.
Thank you. It's right here in my notes. Harold Ramis was approached to do this. He passed it. He turned it down. Greg Beeman, who directed Mom and Dad Save the World, also approached to do this.
See, that also says License to Drive.
He also directed
License to Drive as well.
Yes,
that could have been fun.
But apparently he was dropped from the project because there was controversy surrounding the movie Mom and Dad Save the World, in the press at the time. Anyway, it ended up in the hands of a husband and wife team, Rocky Morton and Annabelle Jankel. The only other movie they directed was a Dennis Quaid movie called DOA. But they were approached because they created Max Headroom. They were the creators of Max Headroom, and they were pioneers of computer graphics. So it was because of their talent for CGI and cutting-edge technology, like special effects at the time, that they were approached for this movie.
I think it's a real shame this movie killed their career then, because between what they did with this and Max Headroom, I feel like they probably had a lot of really cool ideas.
They never directed again.
I know.
After this movie.
I know.
Yeah.
That's heartbreaking.
They went way over budget for this.
Mm.
It was a $42 million budget. They made $20 million.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And it has a 23% on Rotten Tomatoes, 1% higher than our last movie we did, Congo.
You know I don't put any stock in Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, that's fair. But I do also, I want to take this opportunity to say that we're not going to just do what are considered flops.
Only when I choose them.
Well,
apparently.
We'll run the whole gamut of quality cinema to not so much. But
I will only be choosing movies from between 1990 and 1995 that no one but me likes.
Well, I'm hopefully going to enjoy more of those. I've enjoyed 2 so far, so that's a pretty good track record. 2 for 2. I always like to do this. The actors who passed on the stuff. Others approached to play Mario. Danny DeVito.
Naturally.
Bruno Kirby.
Don't know.
From City Slickers and Harry Met Sally.
Oh.
He's great. He would have been a great Mario.
Sure.
I could totally have seen him as Mario. And Cheech Marin. Okay, so then attached to play Luigi before John Leguizamo, Tom Hanks. And apparently Tom Hanks was dropped because the financial failures of Turner and Hooch and Joe versus the Volcano led the studio to believe that Hanks was no longer a box office draw.
Aww.
Only time will tell.
By the way, when I picture Tom Hanks, especially young Tom Hanks, there are not many actors who look more like the cartoon character Luigi.
That's a very good point.
I think that could have worked out.
Yeah, Hanks can do it.
Yeah.
He could do anything.
And then actors approached to play Bowser, who turned it down, were Michael Keaton,
Sure.
Kevin Costner,
Weird.
and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I would love to have seen that.
Yes. Keaton as well, I think, would have really...
Oh, yeah.
He would have ran away with it. And maybe enjoyed himself more than Dennis Hopper did. I don't know.
I don't know. Does Keaton enjoy himself? He seems like another guy who doesn't enjoy things.
I would say that I don't think I've ever seen it seem like Keaton wasn't trying.
He's always
and
trying.
It didn't seem like Hopper was trying here, to mine eye.
I felt like he was.
Okay. Well, he's tried harder in other things. I wish there was a behind-the-scenes documentary about this film. I think that would be a blast to watch.
Yeah.
You've got actors writing their own lines, other actors getting different scripts on different days. It sounds like a madness.
We'll just have to contact Criterion.
Yeah, Criterion.
That's the part of the whole
they
deal.
pump it up with this, the special
The
features.
special
This had
features.
0 special features, this
No.
DVD.
Of course
And
not.
one of the worst menus I've ever seen. All right. Okay. So now I do. We can start rolling towards the sequels, but I want to get into something that we didn't talk about in our first episode. Why are we doing this? I mean, we did talk about how we like to talk movies, but specifically, I would like to know because I think I have an answer for myself, but if you have an answer for why the idea of talking sequels and trying to pitch better follow-ups appeals to you. I think for me, I've gone back and forth as to whether or not I think sequels are good ideas, generally speaking. I mean, I grew up always wanting them.
Yeah.
I always wanted more of the things that I liked. But having grown up around that and seeing the ratio of success versus failure, it continues to be a question for me, especially in this day and age in which we have so many franchises being brought back after so long.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are responding to fandom on the internet, sort of seeing possible financial success where maybe they didn't see it before, and things get brought back, and I would say more often than not they are major disappointments.
I'm okay with that.
I'm not, especially for things that come back after so long.
Now I'll take 9 bad sequels if I get one really good one.
Well, I guess what I want to do with this concept, this podcast, is put my money where my mouth is. If I'm going to complain about what I'm being given, if I'm going to say what these people did isn't right, I need to be able to back that up with,
I see.
Here's something better.
So you're not just whining.
Yes, exactly.
I get it.
Yes, I used to love to whine.
We all did.
Not so much anymore.
It's not charming anymore.
No, it's too easy.
Yeah, who wants it?
So let's, pitch instead.
Yeah, next time we should definitely probably do a movie that has a sequel.
Yes. Okay, now you are a fan of this movie. Apparently, there are at least 2 other people who are as well. In 2003, Stephen Applebaum and Ryan Haas teamed with one of the film's original screenwriters, Parker Bennett, one of the team that was credited with the film, and they wrote a webcomic sequel.
Interesting.
Yes.
Have you looked into that? Have you read that?
I did look it up, and I made an attempt to read it.
Mm-hmm.
I found it online. The premise, it picks up with Mario and Luigi returning to Dino Hatton, and to aid Daisy in defeating mad scientist Wart, the final boss from Super Mario Bros. 2, the video game.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Sure. Why not?
I mean, if you're gonna do the next game.
Do the next game.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I read what exists online. It was evidently it was a webcomic released day to day, evidently intended to be 10 chapters, each 10 pages. I got to chapter 4, page 6, and then there stopped being any more available. It was apparently discontinued less than halfway through.
You got C&D from Nintendo?
No, apparently it was because this is sort of unofficial enough. It wasn't a legal issue. It was that they were doing a fundraising campaign to sort of keep the comic alive day to day, asking for money, and they didn't get enough money, and it just fell apart. They couldn't pay their artists to finish the story that they had constructed.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, pretty sad, pretty bleak ending for what sounds like it was maybe their life goal. From 93 to 2013, they had this vision in their head, or at least
they should have just done a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boom, problem solved.
We're gonna do multiple sequels today.
Maybe
shows those clowns
if we get to it.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Well,
I just got someone's got to keep it moving.
Okay, that's you then.
That's me.
Yeah. All right. So let's start, as I like to start these pitches, with the question: do you believe there should be a sequel?
Yes.
You yes to this one.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
With so much left on the table and with an ending like that.
The come with me. There's more to do.
Yeah.
The Back to the Future.
Yeah, Marty, something's got to be done about your kids ending.
Yeah.
I want to see the kids.
Right.
So yes, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I felt like this was a clear enough vision that I feel like I know they have more.
It doesn't have to be them. Anyone can do a sequel.
Okay, so you're saying a new team gets brought in and it's like James Cameron coming in and putting his own spin on Terminator.
Well, what? Do you mean Alien?
And I guess I do mean Alien. Woo! Works for both. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Okay, well, so yours is a yes. I
guess we know what yours is.
Well, I mean, I don't know that it's... I don't want to... I guess it's a no. I guess I don't... I had a good time, but I wasn't hungry for more.
It's a rough first date.
Well, they already got rid of Bowser. That's your lead villain.
They get rid of Bowser at the end of every game. And then he just shows back up in some clown jalopy and throws crap at you. Or you do the Koopa Kids, or you do whatever.
Yeah, but
open your mind,
it just
Quaid.
Becomes less and less interesting. All right, so then on to the next question. Sequel or prequel? What do you think is the best fit?
Sequel. What would a prequel be? Just dinosaurs living a shitty life in Dino Hatton?
Well, I have an idea. I have a prequel.
Just the Mario Brothers being poor plumbers?
That is not my idea, but that's what you're saying. No, that's what pitches.
Based on this movie, a prequel would be like dinosaurs being sad in their city and the Mario Brothers. Like, never the twain should meet, you know? Because they meet for the first time here, so... Sequel, definitely.
My prequel pitch... I won't flip a coin for this since it sounds like you don't have one.
Here we go!
Donkey Kong, Super Mario Bros. 2.
Okay.
Before he adopts Luigi, Mario is a brutish carpenter who takes in an escaped gorilla one night and attempts to care for it, only to have the ape kidnap his then-girlfriend Pauline... a reference to the original name for Peach, and takes her to the top of a tower that Mario must avoid obstacles to reach before it's too late.
So it would be like that Bruce Lee movie? Octagon?
Sure, or The Raid, or
any one of those movies where
You got to reach the top of the tower. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything special about this ape? Is it like a
I mean, it's. I would say that this ape is akin to Yoshi or even the chimpanzee in Super Mario Brothers. Pretty smart.
It wouldn't be like bigger than a normal gorilla.
No, he'd be a normal gorilla with a tie. You're gonna put him in the tie, probably.
Yeah. Well, you gotta.
You gotta. And
is the gorilla setting these traps, or is it just at the top of like Nakatomi Plaza or whatever, throwing shit down at him?
Yeah, I think he's improvising. I think Donkey Kong. Yeah, absolutely. Especially particularly smart escaped ones. I'm gonna say he was a circus performer or something like that.
Okay, that's all I needed. I just need circus is all I need.
Yeah, and I think that in terms of how this particular Mario reacts to insane situations, I think I could see him pretty easily being like, "All right, come in, I'll give you a banana."
Yeah, he took it in stride.
Yeah.
I like that it's outside the box and that
you.
it's not a retread.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that the bizarre nature of this movie sort of allowed me to feel like that was an okay pitch for a prequel.
Yeah.
I think it fits. That's my prequel pitch. We'll move on to the main game.
Okay.
Now remember, the rules are that we have to, if we have it, we have a direct sequel pitch and a modern sequel pitch.
Right.
Something you would make today.
Right.
And whichever one you like better, you do second. The direct or the modern.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so this is our first coin flip of 2. Let's see who's going to go first. Call it in the air.
Okay. Heads. It's heads.
It's heads.
What do I win?
Well, do you want to go first or
I can go first.
Okay.
I don't have anything prepared, but I'll wing it.
All right. Well, hey.
So
maybe you shouldn't have let me know that. We'll see if you needed to. If that was a good call.
So this would be for like a sequel back in 94 or 95 or whatever.
Here we go.
So you go back to the Mushroom Kingdom, as it would now be called. It would not be Dino Hatton. It would be the Mushroom, because the Mushroom King is back. Lance Henriksen is the Mushroom King.
But in the movie.
Yeah.
The implication is that he was a dinosaur. They just evolved him beyond.
I understand that. But now, because the fungus was everywhere taking over, it has been colloquially nicknamed the Mushroom Kingdom, and they are adopting that to get rid of the old hateful Koopa Kingdom regime. It is now the Mushroom Kingdom, and they even call Princess Daisy Princess Toadstool. Little things like that. But it's going to be sort of like the inverse. It's like the happy version. Everything's still kind of dirty and scary because resources are still scarce, and we are going to try to retain that adult tone. But we're going to have a little bit more of an effects budget now. So the dinosaur citizens are not going to be people with like green paint. We're going to have more dinosaur-looking people. Because it's right on the heels of Jurassic Park. So people are going to want to see more dinosaurs, especially after this one kind of promised dinosaurs.
Sure.
So Mario and Luigi go back. We're not going to do any more like Koopa stuff, King Koopa stuff, because I do think we should keep him dead.
Okay.
It just in this case, because he's dead. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Lance Henriksen as the Koopa King. When Daisy came back, she looked like she was a gorilla fighter, though.
Yeah, I feel that the implication there is that there's unrest. She's on the rebel side or whatever.
Yes.
What have you.
So those rebels would be like those loyal to Koopa still, the cops, and maybe the Goombas are weird because they seemed kind of like benign.
Yeah, they weren't.
There were a couple of evil ones.
Yeah,
but they just seem to be like people. So we're gonna have a good and bad.
Yeah,
I do want to bring Bertha back as
please and thank you.
You liked Bertha so much. I want to bring her back as like one of the freedom fighter cells.
Who is Big Bertha in the game?
That's the big fish, the big red fish that jumps out of the water and eats
and shoots the trophy out at the end of Mario Kart. The big fish. Okay,
one of the big fish. So it's basically going to be a civil war rather than a war between like Koopa and whatever our dimension. We're not going to really come back to Brooklyn. We're just going to stay there. The Mushroom King. What's his name? Did we get a name?
No.
Just Mushroom King?
Your father. Yeah.
Lance Henriksen.
Yeah.
is doing his best to keep the city in one piece. I'm seeing a lot of like Big Brother-esque like announcements from him with those weird guns they use to like talk to everyone. The communication guns.
Yeah.
And so Mario and Luigi, we need to incorporate the pipes that we need a reason that they're plumbers. Because they really tried to hit the plumber thing hard in this movie.
Oh, it's very
There's a lot of plumber-based stuff.
For sure.
So all of the pipes in the city that lead out to the desert, that lead everywhere, that is going to be, I'm thinking it's a little Mad Maxy, but I'm thinking there's going to be some kind of water thing. It's going to be, because the whole point of this movie is they wanted to combine the dimensions so that the dinosaur land people could have resources, because they don't have any. But I don't want to just leave them there dying. So I'm going to say that they found a water reservoir or something, but it's all piped up. And those loyal to Koopa are trying to retain power of it to keep power over the Mushroom Kingdom. So, of course, Daisy goes and gets the only plumber she knows. And then there's a lot of fighting there. There's a lot of dinosaur cells. I don't know who I want the big bad to be. You know what? As I'm saying that, I have to figure it out. I want it to be Wendy O. Koopa.
Okay, you are apparently more well versed in the Nintendo universe.
Yeah, so I would like, let's go ahead and expand, because Iggy and Spike are two of the Koopa kids from the Mario game.
Right.
So let's just bring in the rest of the cousins.
Okay.
But the matriarch would be Wendy O. Koopa. I just like her style.
Meaning, in the game, she is Bowser's
they're just
lady?
They're just called the Koopa Kids.
Okay,
so
but she's a kid.
theoretically
Okay, got it. She's not any more important than the rest.
No,
of
there's just
them
a bunch. There's like 8 of them, I think, 7 or 8 of them.
All right.
So then you could get the other Koopa-lings if you want. His cousins, they could still be trying to avenge their other cousin or whatever. But Wendy O is the ringleader, and she's like very kind of new wavy, moddy, whatever the hell was going on in 1995. And then they can sort of defeat her, and then you can bring back, Spike and Iggy. You got to bring them back as fan favorites.
100%.
And then, of course, they win in the end, and whatever.
You're right. Maybe Luigi and Daisy get to stay together this time.
Yeah, he gets to stay. Mario can go back to Brooklyn with his, groovy tanning salon girlfriend, Daniela.
Yeah.
Then you got a Mario brother in each dimension, just in case.
I'm into that.
All right.
Do you have a modern?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
So my modern sequel would be animated.
Oh my.
I would sort of James and the Giant Peach it. For this one, we would bring Bowser back though. And he again tries to combine both dimensions. But this time, instead of just a couple of people like Avengers, Thanos snapping away, it completely works. They're both combined, but now it's animated now. For whatever reason. I don't know. It just is. And now we're going to do a more classic Mario and Luigi going through different lands to get to King Koopa and Daisy. So they will be just doing your kind of standard, like meeting, different characters from the game, going through classic like desert lands, ice lands, things like that.
Sure.
In very truncated versions, so we can kind of get through it all. Yoshi can be there. Maybe we can even do something fun that when it's animated and the worlds are combined, Yoshi's powers activate and he can talk now. And he's bigger, it's longer, so they can ride him. And then Daisy is like fighting to free both people. Now you've got people from the real world, and you kind of have to explain to them what's going on while they're terrified, working with the dinosaur people to all kind of just try to untangle everything. And they're doing everything they can to get together to separate the two dimensions again. But then the big climax would be when they finally all unite and they're defeating Bowser and stuff. They don't separate the dimensions, because that would once again mean damning Dinosaur World, Dino-Hatton, to this crappy desert land.
Yeah, they're in a bad spot.
And obviously we're not doing so hot right now either.
Sure.
So this could be sort of a coming together moment where we have an opportunity to reset everything.
That's nice.
So let's work together with everyone, and we can kind of set up our own rules now.
Okay. All right. That sounds awesome. That sounds like a good time.
Thank you.
Now, I'm going to do my modern pitch.
Go for it.
And then we're going to let the coin decide.
Okay.
However, before we let the coin decide, I just want to say you have to pick one of your pitches.
Yeah.
And title it if you can.
Oh, okay.
So we have
Tone noted.
Oh, I want to post the winners, and it's neater if you have a title. And try to think of a title for both if you can.
I will. I can do that.
Great. All right.
Here we go!
My modern sequel is called Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
Great.
Thank you. We've got Leguizamo and Samantha Mathis returning as Luigi and Daisy. Mario's long dead, R.I.P. unfortunately,
Right.
and they are retired. Sort of, we get the backstory that they've lived a life. They did a lot of good for the Mushroom Kingdom, for the Dino Hatton, whatever it's called, but they're done with it, and it has been left to their children to rule. The children have had 2 babies, Mario and Luigi.
Oh, I see.
Thank you.
I see what we're doing.
Yep, and the baby, both babies are stolen by a magic-based Koopa called Kamek, as is in the game, who flies away with them. But Baby Mario fights his way out of the situation, lands in transit to where Kamek is going, Koopa territory, an area where those loyal to Koopa or the Koopa Way or something, or the Koopa family have relocated themselves, but they're passing over Yoshi's homeland. Baby Mario is found by the further grown Yoshi.
Mm-hmm.
So you now have multiple stories, one being Baby Mario and Yoshi in pursuit of Kamek, the other being the grandparents, Luigi and Daisy, also in pursuit of the situation because their children were raised as ultra pacifists. They're not going to be the ones who can go in and kick butt, but they know that that's what's needed. Mm-hmm. They didn't even know that the Koopas were still around, or at least didn't, have power.
Yeah, it's a lot like Spy Kids.
Sure, yeah. Absolutely it is. Tonally as well, yeah. I would say. But then, eventually you have these 2 storylines converge. It ends up being the foursome, Baby Mario, Yoshi, Luigi, and Daisy in the end, taking on Kamek to save Baby Luigi, restore her to the world. Bada bing, bada boom. That's my modern sequel. And I think that sounds offbeat and weird enough while being super referential enough to fit the tone of this.
And still live action.
Initial movie. Still live action.
That sounds like a budget-heavy movie.
Not these days.
No?
Doesn't seem that hard.
I guess you're right.
Yeah. All right. So then going into this...
I'm trying to think of titles. I think for the first one, I want to call it Super Mario Brothers, Mushroom Kingdom.
Okay.
For my direct sequel.
Okay.
For my animated one later... I definitely want to call it like Super Mario Brothers 2 because I want people to know this is a sequel to that one.
Okay.
I'm wondering if I want to just leave it at that.
Yes, that is the name of the webcomic, Super Mario Brothers 2.
Okay. And even though the other title's cooler, I think the animated one is the one I'm going to pitch as well.
We're going with the modern.
Both modern.
However, your modern is more direct. It is a direct sequel still.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
what'd you do with the coin?
I lost it.
Right here.
Okay. Never mind. Here it is.
Lauren, you call it since you're still technically here.
Oh, this is excellent. Also, any ideas that rose to the top for you that you thought I could watch that even though I don't,
As you're struggling to stay awake, did you have any?
What was the first pitch you did?
No, don't.
I thought
the Donkey Kong pitch.
I thought that was your sequel.
That was my prequel pitch.
Oh, I like that one. TBH.
Donkey Kong? Yeah. I agree.
I forgot about that one. I did like that one.
Yeah.
That one was good. It was weird.
Yeah. And I think Hoskins could have really had a great time.
Of course.
In that role. But I'm still going to stick with the modern.
All right.
No offense. I'm glad you liked it, though.
I'm so offended.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And you're going to call it.
Yeah.
All right.
Tails.
Oh, I'm going to do that again.
Okay. For the listeners at home.
Okay.
For the listeners at home. He caught it on the back of his hand like you do. And when he rose up with his other hand, he lifted his other hand. The coin stuck to it, flipped it again, and it ended up tails. So,
I call that shenanigans.
Yeah, you would.
Would you not? Would you?
I have faith in the coin. Flip it again.
All right, let's do it.
The
I
turtle
agree, I
will
agree.
protect
Okay.
me.
All right, and you can call it again
Okay.
in case you want to. And I,
Okay, still tails.
Okay.
Oh!
It's tails. The faith in the coin proved to
Did you
be.
establish who was who?
Yes, he was tails, right?
Oh, no, we didn't.
We didn't. That's why she should. I mean, she can call it, but we have to say.
But wait, you know what's weird is we
Yeah.
both assumed
You got
I was
excited,
tails.
You were sad.
That's true, and,
you
and
got
that
sad.
happened the first time.
And you got sad that it was tails.
Too.
We both just assumed
I
I
was
was tails.
going. I would have called heads. So let's say that we'll stick with.
I'll stick with it because
Yeah.
we both just
That's
inherently in
That's
here
so crazy.
knew that I was tails.
Yes. So the.
Oh, you know what? I'll bet it is because she's my girlfriend. So we just assumed whatever she's calling is for me.
Oh well, that wasn't my logic.
I don't
but
know
I
what it-
had no logic.
Yeah.
I can assure you. We
That
really
is-
need to.
that
I
is
do always
hilarious.
call heads though.
Yeah.
I will say. On
Okay.
Toy Club.
I
Do
always
you
do
always
tails.
go tails?
Yeah.
Same you?
Depends on if you're gonna. No.
No. Okay.
No,
Interesting.
I
All right.
don't.
Okay. Well, we got the whole 1, 2, and 3. All right.
That's
so
some good podcasting.
excellent. So the winner is Super Mario Brothers 2.
I'm Luigi, number 1.
And a fitting title at that. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on the follow-up showdown. This was an interesting one. I think we're going to try not to bring the coin back unless it's another coin-connected movie. I had some fun with it, but we'll try to have a guess.
Well, we only
next
used
time.
the coin because Mario fell through,
Mhm.
and then Lauren had last minute plans she forgot about, so we had no on hand arbiter.
Okay.
So hopefully next time we will.
Yes, and speaking of just some Mario specifically, not that anyone listening will be interested in this necessarily, but Fisher Stevens in this movie, we both decided looks very much like our friend Mario. Only in this movie too.
Yeah.
I've never thought Mario looked like Fisher Stevens,
No.
except for as Iggy. Anyways.
So enjoy that, listeners.
Yeah, enjoy that little nugget, and maybe one day you'll know who Mario is, and that might be of interest to you. Other than that, let's do some plugs. You got anything to plug?
Yeah, as always, you're going to plug our other podcasts, Theater of Tomorrow, Science Fiction Anthology. The Hotel is our horror podcast. Lauren and I have our own Please Don't Listen to This, just slice of life, where we love up and go on dates, and you can voyeuristically listen to that in a non-sexual way. Or sexual way. I don't know. I'm not here to judge you. We're not being sexual, but whatever the listener takes out of it is no business of ours.
Okay. I don't. Yeah, I'll go ahead and plug a series that I did some writing for called Yabba Dabba Dinosaurs. It was canceled, but the episodes that were produced should air on Boomerang or the Warner Brothers Animation app. Give it a watch if you can find it. It's not going to be that easy, but it should be a good time. I stand by that. And Lauren, you want to, I don't know, say hi to your mom or plug
Hello.
anything? Okay, I'm sorry. That was mean. That seemed mean. I didn't.
No, I don't think
yeah.
it was. I think you're okay.
I'm so sad.
Well, it's just I figured you would plug the same things as I guess.
Yeah.
Where I was coming from.
We're
on
a team.
that. Wonderful. That is so beautiful. You're a regular Mario and Daniela. You're you're gorgeous. All right.
I guess
thank
that's
you.
everything.
Yeah, that is everything. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be doing this again soon. Those of you listening to this, you'll get another one in a week.
What's the name of our show again?
Follow-up showdown.
Okay. Catch you next time, downers.
On the next follow-up showdown, today's movie, Dumb and Dumber 2. With us on this journey, a dear friend of mine, Ethan Edinburgh.
I think it's just like whatever the opposite of nostalgia is, because when you're seeing these things that you love, like in a sad way,